Hey Raghunath, tell everyone about our Patreon community.
Sure, Kastuba. The Wisdom of the Sages Patreon community is an incredible online yoga resource. If you like the type of yoga wisdom and culture we share on the show, then our Patreon community is a great next step. This is a listener-supported podcast, and any level of sponsorship will unlock a wide range of live and archived classes, talks, and even workshops.
Raghunath teaches, I teach, and we have a host of other excellent teachers on topics ranging from yoga philosophy, asana classes, storytelling, Ayurveda, kirtan, cooking, meditation, and a lot more.
We even have an incredible online Bhakti 12-step recovery group.
So if you want to check it out, go to patreon.com/wisdom of the sages.
All right, let's get it on.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Live from Super Soul Farm, this is Wisdom of the Sages, a daily yoga podcast with your host, Raghunath, and co-host and senior educator at the Bhakti Center, Kastuba Das. Welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome to today's study, conversation, discussion of the Srimad Bhagavatam, the transcendental literature of the Vedas, connecting the jiva, the lost spirit soul, with divinity, with source, whatever you want to call God. This is the book. 18,000 verses. We're only on Canto 5.
Yeah.
We got a lot of verses to go.
Many,
Good morning,
many.
Kastuba.
Good morning, Raghunath. How are you feeling this morning?
Well, I'm going under the gun today, under the robots for surgery.
I don't get it. I don't understand how a robot does this. Does it just mean it doesn't look
Imagine
like
if the
R2-D2 or something like that?
Imagine if the robot comes in doing the robot in.
That's why they call it the robot.
They say the most painful thing after a hernia surgery is laughter.
Yeah,
So we're going to have to keep the shows from now on very boring, very flat.
Okay, we'll try.
I don't know if it actually looks like a droid. I'm expecting like a couple, like C-3PO in there doing the surgery. I don't think it's going to be like that. It's going to be more like that vacuum cleaner on the floor that just bumps into things.
Like you're under a conveyor belt or something like that, and just
yeah. I mean, how many things could go wrong with those? You know,
fewer than with
maybe
people.
Yeah, maybe fewer with human. Yes, good point.
We'll see.
Just like the cars that drive themselves. I mean, there's a lot of room to go wrong with those, but there's more room with humans.
Yeah.
I think
We get pretty distracted.
we're distracted. We're very fallible.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, Raghunath. Well, you're in my prayers all day today. Well, when are you
Really? Okay.
What time?
Yeah, we'll take prayers. You know who else is going for surgery is Lady Di's father. We're going to say a little prayer for her too.
Okay. But what
Okay.
time are you going under surgery? When's that going to happen?
Noon.
Okay.
I don't know if we're going to be able to do the show tomorrow. I like to think we are, but if not, Mara will reach out to. How do you reach out to people to tell them to cancel it? Discord thread, Telegram thread,
And the Patreon.
and the Patreon thread.
But
Okay.
let's assume we're going to do it, right?
Let's assume we're going to do it.
Okay.
Who needs a break? Who needs a day off? Come on. Okay. You ready for some interesting news? Mara's got some
first we have
valuable
Mara.
announcements.
Madam Mara.
Madam Mara.
We have a Back to Recovery group meeting at noon today. Tomorrow, Josh Kane is offering an asana class at 10:30 for our Patreon members. And there's still spaces available for our retreat in Italy. And Jiva G and the Back to Recovery group will also be holding space for the retreat participants there as well. They're just back from their UK recovery retreat, and I heard it was transformational.
I heard it was really transformational. Yeah.
You know, the New York retreat that we do, which is like, I think it's the 9th, 10th, and 11th of June.
Yep.
That's up on the Bhakti Center's website. That's a fun one. And we got to put it on our, you want me to try to put it on our website today?
I think we put it on.
Oh, it's there?
But double check, but basically we do a retreat at the Bhakti Center, but that's Saturday. So we have a morning program that we have Friday night, then we have a morning program at the Bhakti Center. Then we take a field trip, which is pretty cool, to the Rath Yatra. We all go to Rath Yatra together. We have a Wisdom of the Sages table. We have our own little kirtans by the Wisdom of the Sages table. It's quite fun.
And then more Sunday morning.
And then Sunday morning up till, early afternoon, we have programs. So
we generally do a rooftop program on Friday on the roof of the Bhakti Center. There's always like lots of great devotees passing through, so you never know. Last year we pulled in Radhanath Swami. Anything like that could happen this year.
I know. And me and Cindy are doing a retreat right before that at Super Soul. We're doing a Bhakti video. No, because I'm saying because some people have come from out of town, they want to do something bigger than a weekend.
Right before it.
So we're all going to go down, me and Cindy and Steven and Merritt. We're all going to go right from here down to the Rath Yatra. People did that last year. We did the Wisdom of the Sages retreat.
Yeah.
And they all went down. So if you want to do two, you can go check out my link tree.
It's also up on our
and I was going to say also that Friday, earlier in the day, like beginning of I don't know if it's noon or something like that, there's kirtan and prasadam in Tompkins Square Park.
Ooh.
It's like a big program there. So things really get started like early on Friday. That's an official part of our thing, but everyone can check that out.
Yeah. All right, that's great. I'm excited for it all. Exciting things happening, Prabhu.
Okay.
Here's what we got for nuggets today. I like this one.
Who's it
Are you
from?
ready?
Yeah.
This is from Kastuba. No, it's from Elbert Hubbard.
Elbert Hubbard, not L. Ron Hubbard.
No, I kept on thinking L. Ron Hubbard.
It's not
This
L.
was this. I wonder if Elbert Hubbard was like, "Who's this L. Ron Hubbard coming in?" And it's like if someone was named Roy Cappo, right, and he became famous. Be like, "Oh my God, Roy Cappo!" Everybody thinks him.
Elbert Hubbard. He was a writer.
Okay.
What's he got to say?
Okay, he said, men are not punished for their sins, but by them. You like that?
I do.
Men are not punished for their sins, but by them. Like we like to think that our karma is something extrinsic, coming from out towards in, coming from some evil higher authority. It's a lot of the reasons why people hate God. They hate authority is we feel like there's always punishment there. With that punishment, there's like shaming for my doing something bad. No. We're doing it to ourselves, right? We can't like sort of chew on our own finger and then blame somebody else for harming me. There's laws of this land, just like there's laws of the road. I can drive on the left side of the road in America and I can do whatever I want. But eventually going around a corner, you're going to come head to head in a head-to-head collision. I'm doing these things to myself. The Vedas are just giving insight. These laws of nature, these yamas and niyamas, they're for our benefit. Hey, do this, plant seeds here and then you get a fruit there or you get a flower then. But if you don't plant it at all, you're going to get nothing. And we're trying to give you good advice here. Just like a father, a mother tries to give good advice, not to control, not to manipulate, not to crush the spirit of, not to take away their joy, to enhance their freedom, to enhance their joy, to enhance their life. We're doing it to ourselves, Mr. Kastuba.
I like the way that you say it. We have our choices, and then there's two things involved, right? Because you were just saying it's like a parent. So, okay, that is like it's coming from somewhere else. Mm-hmm. But it's like a parent responding, just like a parent. Nowadays, we don't say punish. Like the word punishment has become like, I think, frowned upon in parenting or something like that. But
you can't say punishment.
Consequences, right? They say consequences, right?
Okay.
But I don't know. When you were raising your kids, you say you're going to get punished for that, or did you say there will be consequences?
I never punished what?
Just laughing that he never punished.
I never punished my kids. I
forgot to do that.
My kids.
But it's kind of like the idea is that there's a law within nature, right? And it's there to. It's a way of fostering, a disposition that's designed for love, a disposition of kindness and a disposition of compassion and of generosity, that that any action that we perform which is not in harmony with that, that it's gonna bring back a reaction that's meant to kind of like get us back in line, so it's nature's way of fostering the development of these qualities which are in conflict with our nature. If our nature is to love, this is kind of like Prabhupada really highlighted this idea from the Bhakti tradition, and he made it like abundantly clear in his writings, that our nature is to love in connection with God and through God with every living being.
Mm.
And so then the laws within this, our whole business and being in this world is like we wanted to kind of ignore that. We want to try to turn the back on that, but then there's laws within this world that are meant to kind of steer us back towards it, and so it's not like I think part of the appeal that you and I had towards Eastern thought and Bhakti tradition specifically was that we had some faith that there's something beyond just what we're seeing with our eyes. There's got to be some kind of designer behind this world. There's got to be some kind of force greater than ourselves. But the way that it was presented to us was too simplistic sometimes, right? That here's this idea of sin. Why is it sinful? Why is it bad? Why is it wrong? You're not even told that. As a matter of fact, you're told that you're born sinful. And it seems like there's these arbitrary rules, and you're supposed to just submit yourself to them without even really understanding why. I'm not saying that I don't want to limit any religious presentation to that, but that's largely the way that it was presented to us, right? And here was a different idea that no, there's a universe. It has laws. They're meant to make you a better person. You're meant to kind of get in tune with them. And if you act callously, if you act cruelly, then you are bringing upon yourself suffering, right? You're bringing it upon yourself. You got no one to blame but yourself, right? And you're actually meant to learn from it, grow through it, become a better person, evolve through it.
I think the first way, as explained, that the sins, I'm getting punished for my sins, it creates a victim mentality, a victim vision of the world. Everything's happening to me. This is unfair. This is the repeated mantra that everything is coming after me for my crimes. And it never allows us to take responsibility. It never allows us actually to heal. Just within Bhakti, as within, because they go hand in hand, a 12-step recovery is whenever I guess total ignorance is blaming. Why is this happening to me? This is, this higher power is punishing me. What kind of God would take away my joy? As opposed to, I'm responsible here. And this is part of from what I understand, of a 12-step recovery is I understand I've done something, and not have I done something and hurt myself. I feel disgraced by it. And you know what? That's okay. Sometimes it's okay to notice that I've done something disgraceful. I notice it, and now I want to move forward. We shouldn't just say, okay, we shouldn't just throw out all guilt. If you've done something you feel bad about, okay, acknowledge that so you don't do it again. But furthermore, when I make a bad choice that hurts me, I most likely have stepped on other toes, if not stepped on other heads. And therefore, I've got to start making a list of people I owe apologies to. I have to really go through my heart and see, man, I hurt this person, I hurt this person, I hurt this person. It wasn't just that I hurt myself. And in this sort of like clear thinking, I realized that this was like a wave of disaster I created. And I don't want to do this anymore to myself or to these other people that I love. And I think that's how we got to go towards like healing. But it starts with acknowledging that this isn't happening to me. I've created it by my own choices. I'm not going to blame karma anymore, or God anymore, or the government anymore, I'm just going to blame my reaction to what I got and how I'm reacting to it. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm with you 100%, Rogan. I like it. Elbert got that one correct, I think.
Now I'm thinking like Elbert.
Men are not punished for their sins, but by them. This is a clear way of spiritual thought. One's kind of like religious thought, and the other's kind of like spiritual thought, right?
Yeah.
The religious thought is, we sin and we get punished for that, and we're desperately seeking salvation from the punishment of our sin. That's the goal of this process. Spirituality is like, I'm meant to evolve. I'm meant to learn something. I'm meant to return to some spiritual essence that I've lost touch with. It's a different way of phrasing it, but it kind of by phrasing it the second way, by understanding, the punishments that I get in life are because of my own actions and my own choices.
Right.
It gives one the chance to grow and to evolve, like you're saying. Thank you, Elbert.
Some people will argue, Costuba. Some people are going to say, well, I've done nothing to deserve this.
Oh.
To deserve what I got through you. How dare you? How dare you? What do you know about my pain?
I've shared this before that I once heard, I don't know if I read it or if I heard it. It was some video or something, but it was a very well-known hardcore singer, right? And he was speaking against karma. He was saying karma doesn't exist, right? And then he presented the proof for it, which was, I had this friend and he never did anything bad to anyone, and he got shot and killed. So that doesn't add up, right? Like, he never shot and killed somebody. And, when I heard that, it's just like, okay, no,
he's defeated the whole Vedic philosophy.
There's like thousands of years.
Thousands of years of
great philosophers,
Brahmins, pundits, thinkers.
Yeah. And so that was just like, that's just a way too simplistic way of approaching this,
And the singer up front defeats it all, whoever it was.
But
Who was
so
it?
Yeah, it's like, serious philosophers have engaged with this in serious ways. What to speak of previous lives, how well we understand our own actions, is a big part of this equation. How well we understand what and it's like that. Just due to our cultural conditioning, we can accept extreme cruelty as being normal. Slavery was thought as, that's normal.
Right.
Factory farming right now, the majority of people in America think that's normal, right? You get a real look at it, you say, oh my God, this is extremely cruel, So, we don't know what each of us have done and what we're responsible for,
Sure.
So in the Vedic teachings are saying an intelligent person can understand, hey, within every culture, there's teachings about the golden rule, about, treating people the way that you would want to be treated, and the very concept that it will bring some kind of inauspiciousness into your life if you don't think that way, right? We're all hearing that message. How deeply are we examining, and if that's the case, then how deeply are we examining our own actions? Really trying to understand, do I cause suffering in this world, in this life? And can I accept the idea that I could have easily caused suffering in my previous life as well? And then I pay the consequence. I accept those consequences. This will come up in today's reading, probably, if we get there, that the ability for one to say, I accept what suffering I get in this world. I don't, we were talking, was it yesterday that we were talking about this idea that, or no, it was 2 days ago. Oh, you posted something about it on your Instagram yesterday.
What'd I say? Was it
about
wise?
the idea some problems in life, they're meant to be solved.
Oh, yeah.
And some are meant to be tolerated.
I stole that from Shubha Vilas.
That was from Shubha Vilas. And so that's the idea that, right, that even from any case, but just that idea is important, that I don't, anything that I suffer from in this life, I don't have to work hard to try to reverse it. I could accept some of it, right? And I can even accept some of it as healthy. It's healthy that I suffer a little bit in life. It helps me evolve. It's there for
Sure. Accept it as my, I'm getting pure. And if I can just move forward with my spiritual practice, then that pain, it's a cleansing. It's just, you just tolerate that pain and move forward.
Just like you're going to have to endure a little pain for your hernia operation.
I'm going to have to endure a little pain. Maybe. Depends how merciful the robots are.
The reason that, and you understand that the reason that you're going through is because of your horrible, sinful choices in life.
I want the robot to do it, the surgery while doing the robot.
You don't think you're gonna see a robot.
You don't think I'm going to see a robot? The robot's going to do surgery. How am I not
The-
going to see the robot?
The robot is gonna put him.
They're going
under
to blindfold me. Maybe it's an army of robots coming in.
You have no idea what this whole process is going to look like. You're
I'm
completely
expecting a
clueless.
stormtrooper to come in.
You don't know anything about what you're about to go through.
I
Somehow
don't.
your body is going to be cut into. You got no idea what's happening.
They're probably going to shave my chest.
Okay, enough of that, Robert. Let's move on.
Okay. Where are we at? Narayanam. Oh, wait a second. We had a Krishna miracle yesterday, Mara. Can we share a Krishna miracle? We want to see if it's Kostuba approved.
All right.
All right, Mara.
What happened, Mara?
All right, so I was
First, let me
Googling-
get your opinion, Mara. Do you think this is actually a Krishna miracle? Do you think
I do. I do.
Okay.
So that's what, but I had to run it by you
Okay.
to see if it passes
see
your
if
bar.
this. Yeah, let's see.
Rago's bar is a little lower.
Rago's Krishna miracle
I accept
bar.
that.
is
You know
like
why? Because I see
beneath the
miracles
curb.
everywhere, my friend. A blooming flower. Miracle.
I wasn't
Okay.
saying which is bad or which is good. So I Googled the benefits of laparoscopic surgery to see.
That's what the
Laparoscopic means
robots are
robot
doing.
surgery.
Yeah, that's Rago's robot surgery,
Okay.
which also involves, there's a lot of good benefits, including that it's faster healing and less pain. But
I've never even heard of this before, by the way. I never even knew.
Yeah, you got to start tuning in to the robot
Okay.
world.
All right. So
But
what's
anyway, the first thing that came back on the Google search, I was expecting it to be like WebMD or one of these popular sites, and certainly I've clicked on
No.
WebMD plenty of times before. Came up Narayan Health.
Narayan
Narayan Health.
Health.
I'm going to accept that as auspicious.
Yeah, maybe not a Krishna miracle, but it's auspicious. We'll give it
I'll
that.
take it.
Okay. All right.
Take it.
And what did it say? Less pain.
It said, Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim sarasatim vyasam tato jayam mudirayat. Before we started the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances to the Supreme Lord Narayan, unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, and to Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning. Imagine if it said that.
Okay.
Nasta
That would
Prayeshu
be
Badreshu Nityam Bhagavat Sevaya Bhagavaditama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki, by regular attendance in classes of the Bhagavatam and by rendering service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome in the heart will become eradicated, and loving service to the Supreme Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, will be established as an irrevocable fact. Om Jnana Tamarandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshurun Milana Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkness of ignorance. My teachers opened my eyes with a torchlight of knowledge. I offer my obeisances at their lotus feet. Reading.
Vedic mantras for you are something like horseshoes or something. It's like you just got to get in the general area, get some points for it.
It's like horseshoes and hand grenades. Just get close, Raghunath. It doesn't have to be, you don't need to do all the proper accents.
Okay. Where
Where
at?
are we, Mara?
Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 10, Text 13.
Text 13. Oh, but we were going to go back because we visited something and then we got we went off, Raghunath. We went off in a different direction yesterday. But do you remember where we're at? And we were reading this commentary to text 12.
I don't even remember what we talked about a moment ago.
Okay, so I'll refresh.
I'm going to
you.
ask. Okay.
We were reading the commentary to text 12, where Srila Prabhupada was quoting from a song by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur.
We got a lot of good songs in this little community, don't we?
We sure do. So in
Not
this
just the
song-
hardcore songs either. Some of the
No.
great songs by the saints.
Okay.
We got a lot of good hardcore songs that talk about spirituality, but these ones are really good.
So this one is a song by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, a 19th century Renaissance man. And so this is what this is what Prabhupada is writing. It says, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur states that all men and women, and this is our third day speaking about this, that all men and women are floating like straws on the waves of material nature, right?
Mhm.
I'm trying to
I
refresh
am.
you, but you've picked up a book and you're reading something else right now. So
I got
I
a
don't know.
song I was reading this morning. I'm going to share part of it with you after you tell me
Okay, well,
about
we
your
got a
song.
lot. Set that aside for now, Raghunath. I want your attention right
Okay.
now because
Okay.
this is
Find
important.
the
This is
best
important
verse
for the
here.
discussion. Thank you. There you go, Mary. You hold on to that. Don't let him have it back.
Don't give it back. Just put it away.
Okay.
Okay, go on.
So Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur states that all men and women are floating like straws on the waves of material nature.
Yeah.
Right? Sometimes we're coming together, sometimes we're separating. We're under different circumstances. All that. So he says, if they come to the understanding that they are the eternal servants of Krishna, they will put an end to this floating condition. Right? That I have some eternal state of awareness that I meant to return to, and it's in connection to that original source. That's where I meant to understand that, and I'm floating on these waves until I understand that. He says, as
Yeah.
stated. Then he says,
Oh.
"Yeah, should I say something?"
I was just thinking, sometimes you're looking at a creek and there's two sticks, like really bound, almost like they're bound together, and they're floating and floating and floating. And finally, a cascade comes and they just split. This is us with other beings for so long. There's some karma that keeps it together, some glue that keeps it together. But a lot of us can look back at a previous marriage, a real marriage where you were married, you might have children with that person, you made vows with that person, you had so many holidays with this person, and you're no longer with this person. And to even reflect on that time of your life almost seems dreamlike. But
Yep.
at that moment, it seemed so solid. A lot of us have had either a long-term relationship or a marriage where it's like a dream. This is the material existence. We get bound with people. We think they are mine. And then over time, the seasons change and it's separate. So we're trying to find this sort of, we're deeply trying inherently to find some eternality, something that lasts in a temporary world, and it's killing us.
Raghunath, that's very interesting you said that. I read a quote from C.S. Lewis today.
Am I thinking like C.S. Lewis?
Well, this is what he says. You decide. He says, if I find in myself a desire which no experience in this world can satisfy,
Mm-hmm.
the most probable explanation is that I was made for another world.
Very good. That's a great quote.
Right? Yeah. So in other words, what you just said reminded me of that, because you're saying that, like, it's in us to search for that solid,
We love it.
condition, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's so many themes in art and literature for over the centuries about, like, returning to home, what I'm saying? Like getting back.
I don't know if you get this, but
Okay.
whenever I drive through Pennsylvania, Scranton Davy will get this.
Yeah.
Whenever I drive through Pennsylvania, they build all these homes out of like this yellow stone. Have you ever seen that? Or just any type of stone house, or in the woods behind my house, there's like stone walls in the middle of the woods. I find like stone walls are the closest thing we have to eternity in this world. Or when you go to Rome, or you go to Greece, or you go to see these like ancient temples, it's like there's something that resonates. You want something that's been there forever. You find like, oh, this is my family house. This is the house I grew up in. I inherited it from my father. His father built it. Something like an heirloom, something that connects with eternity as much as we can. And you still can't.
Yeah. Okay.
Just like Henry, listening to the show right now. He grew up in his family's house. You know what I mean? That was his house from childhood, and then recently moved out of that house. And that must be almost like a loss. But the loss is we are so deeply desiring something eternal. And I'm settling for her.
Well, hey, that
was so mean.
Mean. Don't be mean.
No, meaning we're trying desperately to find that. And that's what real friendship and connection is, when your friend or lover or spouse or partner or best friend assists you walking towards eternality. That's what a real friend is. Not that they are eternality, but they're assisting you to walk towards eternality. What do you think of my theory?
I love it, Raghunath. And anytime you speak about Henry's house, I can't help but think of your pranks when you call up and you pretend you're an Indian man expecting to bring the whole family over and stay there
No, that was so
because it's an
funny.
ISKCON temple. I look. What do you saw?
I might as well tell the prank. Henry had this big house in DC, and I called him up pretending I was from India and I'm visiting America, and that I found his phone number in the back of in a Back
The
to
list of all
Godhead
the temples?
magazine. There's in the Back to Godhead magazine. There's a list of all the temples. So I said, "Hello, Mr. Sholkov. Yes, I am Mr. Sharma from Gujarat. I'm here with my wife and 4 children, and we are coming to your temple to stay. We are life members." And he's like, "This is my house. Where did you get my phone number from?" "It is in the Back to Godhead magazine." "My number's in the Back to Godhead." That was one of the best pranks I ever done. "Okay, I'll be there tomorrow. We would like 2 rooms if that's okay. We would like 2 rooms.
Okay.
Oh, that was a good one, Henry.
Classic. Classic.
All right.
All right. So back where we were. So this.
What do you think about
floating-
my stone walls, stone houses, family heirlooms? Do you like that? You like where
I
was going
think
with
you're
that?
thinking similar to C.S. Lewis. And I think, my point was that, we always find these themes of returning to home, that we're not in our home. And that what is that? That's the whole Dorothy and whatever that story was, right?
Wizard of Oz. Yeah.
Wizard of Oz,
never-
right? It's like,
yeah.
they want to get home, right?
What is the spiritual underpinnings of the Wizard of Oz?
I
there-
never
never
liked
thought
it, so
about
I
that.
didn't see the whole
Mara
thing.
will look it up.
Okay,
You know what? I really thought I was being profound. I thought the message board was going to be like all crazy. Like,
you see, this is your
I never
problem.
thought of that. Stone walls,
You
eternality.
just put
I
it
got
out there into
This
the world
message
and
board.
don't do it to get something back. Just do it to give.
I didn't. I just thought I was being profound.
Yeah, but
People are
you're
just like,
you're
nothing.
dissatisfied right now. I can sense it because you
I
didn't
am
get the
a
reaction.
little let
that
down
you
with the
wanted.
Zoomers.
You didn't get what you wanted. Now it's okay. Just you put it out there, and that.
All right,
and
go
that
on. Let's
itself-
continue on. I've had
That
enough
itself
of them.
was the success. Just putting it
I've
out
had
there.
enough of all of them. They're still they're all blankly looking.
Look,
at
you're
me.
getting more and more bitter by the second.
Yeah.
All right. So in any case, Prabhupada's saying, and he's quoting Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he says, if they come to the understanding that they are the eternal servants of Krishna, if they can reconnect with that eternality. Raghunath, Mara, could you shut down his chat board? He's just lost right now.
Mukund, it's just another robots will shave.
He's lost.
Robots will shave you.
Mara, get him off the chat and let's get him. Raghunath, you're gonna go through this tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm gonna quote that, and you're gonna.
I can't
suffer
laugh. Enjoy it because you will not get me laughing anytime soon.
Okay,
go on.
let's get back into it. Let's snap out of this, Raghunath. Ready? So if they come to the understanding that they are the eternal servants of Krishna, you could say the eternal lovers of Krishna if you want, that they will put an end to this floating condition. As stated in Bhagavad Gita. Now he quotes Bhagavad Gita. Text 337. Kama Esha, Krodha Esha, Rajaguna Samudbhavaha. Due to the mode of passion, Rajaguna, we desire many things. And according to our desire or anxiety, and according to the order of the Supreme Lord, material nature, this law of karma, gives us a certain type of body. For some time we play as master or servant, right? Sometimes we put on this costume, we put on that costume.
It's just switching it. We just switch roles again
Flipping.
and again in this
Switch.
lifetime and in our next. But in this lifetime, we've done it.
Yeah.
We've
For
been
some-
broke. We got some money.
Yeah, this, that, right? That we're saying about that thing about Trump is just like, it's the perfect illustration of it, right? You're the judge, you're the president, and then suddenly you're being judged.
You're fired, and now you're in prison,
Yeah,
right?
It's like, it flips on us, For
Hmm.
some time we play as master or servant, as actors play on a stage under someone else's direction. While we are
Yeah.
in the human form, we should put an end to this nonsensical stage performance. I like the way the nonsensical stage performance. Right. So now let's go to that verse, Kama Esha, Krodha Esha. This is from the third chapter of Bhagavad Gita, text 37. We're just saying that kama or desire, right? And here we're talking about material desire, materialistic desire for those things that are disconnected from our original source, disconnected from the root of all existence, disconnected from God. Kama Esha and Krodha Esha, and it becomes transformed into anger, right? Due to the influence of this ingredient Rajaguna, that there's an element within our atmosphere, Rajaguna. And when our separate desires contact that, right, it manifests in all different varieties of endeavors in life that send us in all different kind of directions and cause us to be these floating sticks. Like we fall under the power of another type of energy. I'm a king one day, I'm a dog the next day, right? I come together in this relationship and then it separates. I play this role, then I'm playing another role.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So this is what Prabhupada says. It's interesting here. This is the beginning of his commentary to text 337. He says, when a living entity, and I want to share this, Raghunath, and I want to hear your thoughts on this. What Prabhupada gets at here is something that is so fundamental that if we just stop and think about this, it can entirely change our life. All right?
Okay.
Are you ready? Okay.
I'm ready.
All right. When a living entity comes in contact with the material creation, right? I mean, this means that we have that it's a little unnatural to us, this world and its laws.
It's a little unnatural to us. We're this pure spiritual being, and now all of a sudden, we're dropped in to the material creation. What happens to that pure spirit soul? Tell us, Prabhupada.
When a living entity comes in contact with the material creation, and he's not just throwing this out in religious terms, but he's almost throwing it out like in
Scientific terms,
like a laboratory. Yeah,
yeah,
there's this element. When you combine these two elements, then there's something manifests, right?
And that's why this is so powerful. Like this, what you're about to read is like, this makes more sense than any like faith-based concept of God in the world. This is like, it sounds like a science experiment's happening. Yeah. Okay, keep going.
And let's be real here. This isn't what I'm about to read isn't going to prove anything.
But it gives a good explanation of what could possibly happen.
Something an intelligent person should engage with, should consider, should think about, And if you do think deeply about it, it can entirely change your life. So
and you preempted it with this whole thing, or we were preempting it with this whole thing, as perhaps this isn't my home. Perhaps my desires aren't found here. Perhaps that desire for eternality is from some other land, some land of Oz, perhaps.
All right. So here we go. When a living entity comes in contact with the material creation, their eternal love for Krishna, that's that stable thing. That's that eternal thing. That's not the floating and separate, floating on the waves. And there's something stable, right? Their eternal love for Krishna is transformed into lust, right? Kama, material desire. So when we say lust, we don't just mean like sexual lust, but lust in a broader sense, right? So I'll start again. When a living entity comes into contact with the material creation, their eternal love for Krishna is transformed into lust in association with the mode of passion, right? Like, in other words, there is an ingredient called Rajaguna, mode of passion. And we have love in our heart, but when that love contacts this element of Rajaguna, it transforms. So he says, in other words, the sense of love of God becomes transformed into lust as milk in contact with sour tamarind is transformed into yogurt. Right now,
so just put a lemon and milk or something sour.
Well, lemon will turn it into curd, right? Separate it, and then like a yogurt
tamarind
culture,
do that?
Bacteria will turn it into yogurt, right? Lemon doesn't turn milk into. Come on, man. What's your Hare Krishna?
Well, the analogy was tamarind.
Tamarind. It's
that sours the milk. That makes it curdle.
Well,
right,
he said here yogurt.
Come on.
He said yogurt.
Well, it doesn't turn it into yogurt.
Yeah, maybe curd.
You got to heat the milk. You got to.
You saying Prabhupada is wrong?
I was saying the analogy.
Okay, but I think it means transforms it.
You know what I bet it meant?
What? Curd.
I bet someone did the translation wrong.
Yeah, curd.
Because they use this word in England and India for curd.
Yeah.
It actually turns to curd. And an American says, "Oh my God, I can't believe we found a mistranslation," but because curd means yogurt in England and in India.
Yeah. Whereas really what we're speaking about when we say curd is like paneer. Right? It's like,
we say curd is paneer. Yeah. So when you put something sour in milk, it actually, so the interesting thing about that analogy is with lemon or with tamarind is curd is actually a completely different food. It's not milk at all. It's actually, it transforms
Yeah.
into a completely different
Something
food.
very
So
different.
now that desire for love, that desire to want to give love becomes a perverse, like it's unoriginal. It's not the original. Like just the milk is not the original thing. It's a whole different substance. And this is what lust is in the material world.
And think about how different this is than what we were discussing earlier, like the idea you are all born into sin. You are sinful by nature.
I never liked that.
I never liked that. Finally gets it off his chest after 57 years. I never liked that.
I never liked that. Born into sin, eat my body. This is my blood.
So this idea,
I thought that whole thing was gory. This is my body. This is my blood.
Okay, let's set that
this
aside.
This is the lamb of God.
Set that aside for now, and let's just focus on this. This idea. Okay, you're sinful by nature. Not yogi by nature.
I'm naughty by nature.
You're naughty by nature.
I'm naughty by nature.
That's what it says.
I'm a yogi.
So you're sinful by nature. And all your predisposition to engage in these sinful activities makes you a horrible person, and you're going to go to hell forever for it if you don't accept this person as the savior. And if you do, now you're saved from it all. It's like, what the hell is that? So this is a very different idea. This is saying, no, by nature, you are pure. By nature, you love. You're selfless. You're a perfect, harmonious being. Harmonious with every other living being. Harmonious with that being which is the source of all. That's your nature, and it's blissful, and it's fully enlightened, and it's eternal. And for a moment, you've forgotten that. You've lost touch with that, and that love that's in your heart, that pure love, which makes you such a special being, not a dirty, rotten, horrible being, right? That pure love, which is your nature, when it contacts the Rajaguna, it transforms. And the same enthusiasm that you have for pure selfless love gets transformed into material desire or lust, kama. And now you're going full force with that. Now, so the idea is I don't have to kill anything inside myself. I just need to turn it back the right way. It's not that my desire is wrong or horrible, but it's misdirected. And I need to be able to, like here we're using the term, here we're using in this analogy, milk and yogurt, but another good one, and perhaps better in this sense, is let's talk about water and ice, right? Water comes into contact with coldness, which is really a lack of heat, but right, like with the cold, with refrigeration, if you want to say it, right? And it becomes transformed into ice. What was liquid becomes solid. It's very different, right? Almost like completely different.
It's a solid now.
Yeah, but it can be returned to water, right? It can like you can't do that with curd or yogurt, You can't turn it back into milk.
So maybe a better analogy, you're saying?
Yeah, and Prabhupada used this one too, though. Ice, so we've become frozen in a sense. We've become frozen. Our hearts are the pure love, that pure bhakti, which is our nature. It's been frozen. It's stuck, and now we're pointed the entirely wrong way, and we're out of our nature. But we can melt again, and become water again. So that it's just such a.
It seems like what you're saying, if I could boil this down to one thing, what seems like you're saying is that we are not naughty by nature.
We're not naughty by nature.
Okay, I got that.
Okay.
All right.
So I just wanted to share that. I thought that was worth going.
This whole thing is great. Living entity comes in contact with material creation. His eternal love for Krishna is transformed. Yeah. Okay, I like that. All right, where do we go from here? We got 7 minutes left.
Oh, text 13.
Text 13. Come on, Mara. Mara. Ooh.
I don't want to die.
If you don't pick me up high, I'll die.
How come you can't have text 13 up on your screen right now? I don't know.
She's in charge of that. I want to give her some service to do.
Okay. Want me to read it? You got it?
My dear king, you have said, my dear king, you have
Yeah.
said this. Okay. Was Judd Bart chastising the king? My dear king, you have said, you rascal, you dull, crazy fellow, I'm going to chastise you, and then you'll come to your senses.
Mm.
In this regard, let me say that although I live
In this
like a-
regard,
in this regard,
in regard to
although
that
I-
horrible threat that you just gave a few moments ago.
although I live like a dull, deaf, and dumb man, I'm actually a self-realized person.
Mhm.
What will you gain by punishing me? If your calculation is true and I am a madman, then your punishment will be like beating a dead horse. There will be no effect. Good point.
Mhm.
Right? Because he won't learn. If he's actually nuts, what's he going to learn by that?
Yeah.
There will be no effect. When a madman is punished, he's not cured of his madness. Omar Sukadeva Goswami continued.
No. Okay, no, just slow it down right there. Why are you running off?
When a
Why are
madman is
you all
punished, he's
anxious?
not cured of his madness.
Huh?
What?
Say again? You were running off to the next verse, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm saying let's stick with this one for a second.
Oh, okay.
Okay. But so this was as we read, this was Judabard speaking to the king, and he's responding to the king's threat that he had given earlier, right? I'm going to punish you and I'm going to set you straight. You know, I'm going to wipe that smile off your face, Mr. Deaf, dumb, and blind person. You know? So but so he gives this logic, like he says, look, I'm a self-realized person, right? So what's the point in punishing me? You're saying you're going to bring me to my senses. I've already, come to my senses. I'm self-realized. You're the one that's not. So if that's the case, then your punishment is pointless, you know? Or if I really am a madman and I'm not a self-realized person, then what good will your punishment do? I'm mad. There's no point. You know, I'm a crazy person. Punishment is not going to be
That's a good
effective on
point.
me. You know, and Prabhupada, it's interesting what Prabhupada did here. He used like a Western metaphor where he said it's like beating a dead horse. Right, the horse is already dead.
Right. You're not going to get the horse to go. He's dead.
If you look at this, if you look at the Sanskrit in this, it uses a different analogy.
The British
Similar-
term, flogging a dead horse.
flogging a dead horse. Yeah, wasn't that a Sex Pistols?
Sex
reference?
Pistols. Yes.
That was like a bootleg or something like that.
something.
Yeah, I remember that. But here it says pista pesha. It's like grinding flour. It's like flour is already ground. You know, it's like.
Oh, that's good. That's a good
there's
analogy.
No point in doing it. So yeah. So what's the point? It's if I'm a madman, you can try to punish me all you want. It's not going to do anything. Okay.
That deaf, dumb, and blind man. Every day I'm singing that Tommy song from this whole chapter. That
That's how
deaf,
mine
dumb, and
work.
blind man sure plays me pinball. That's a really weird concept for a musical, isn't it? A pinball wizard? It's insane.
Okay. Maybe we got to end there.
Okay.
Takeaway for today: Pinball Wizard. That's a crazy concept.
Pinball wizard. Oh, the Europeans have no clue what I'm talking about. Pinball
What?
wizard.
You
What's
keep
pinball?
saying that. Do you
Say
think
that.
nobody in Europe knows the Who? Come on, Raghunath.
No, I don't. Anybody from Europe know
They're
the
actually
Who? Not
from
even know what
there?
I'm talking about.
They're actually a British band. People from Europe, they have no idea about these European bands.
All
Enjoy
righty.
that
Where
laugh,
are we?
Raghunath, because that's going to be your last one for 2 weeks.
My last lap before the robot. The robots are coming to take me. I hear a knocking on the door. It's like all these metal people. Come on, it's time to save you.
What was
Save
that?
him!
Wasn't that a
One of the-
club Saved by the Robots or something? What was it?
Save the robots. That
Save the
club.
Robots.
That was a
Save the-
club we used to hang out at. Remember that, Stuba? Save the
That was
robots.
After Hours Club.
It was open at like midnight till 5 in the morning.
Or like it opened like at 2 or something like that.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. Mara has no idea. There was no Save the Robots in Ghent, New York. Mara,
Well, you were at Save the Robots. Mara was like,
captain of the girls field hockey team.
okay, Mara.
All
Hey,
right,
Mara,
first,
what you got?
laws of nature are to foster love.
Okay.
Yeah, karma in particular. But
Take
yeah, all of them.
responsibility.
All of them are.
Take responsibility for your reaction to what you got.
You got what you got.
Own it.
You get what you get. Don't be upset.
We're meant to return to a spiritual essence that we've lost touch with.
That's right.
Return to heaven.
I remember that one.
A little suffering is healthy for our evolution.
A little bit of suffering.
A little bit of love, we're getting higher.
You don't have to do it for everyone, Ragnar. It's okay.
We're s-
Ragnar thinks that like we're all waiting for him to sing a song.
Maybe they
that
are,
is
Kastuba.
loosely related.
Maybe they are.
We're searching for eternality in a temporary world.
Because we are living in.
All right.
A real friend walks hand in hand towards divinity.
Hand in hand. Elvis Costello.
And we're
And
not naughty by nature.
We're not naughty by nature. That's a good one. What about the
because we
robots
hate you.
shaving? The robots are shaving up.
Settled.
Okay. We are not naughty by nature. That deaf, dumb, and blind palanquin carrier sure plays mean pinball. Do the Europeans know what a pinball machine is? Do they have
Yes, they
this in
do.
your country?
they have them from Soho down to Brighton.
Pinball machines?
Yes.
Oh, you're singing the lyrics. What a crazy concept. I guess the Wizard of Oz is pretty crazy concept as well. Actually, very, very deep stuff we're talking about here. The robots are coming. I hear them. There's a banging on my door, Kastuba, with a metal hand. And I hear a razor, an electric razor. Oh,
But
what's it
Ragnar,
going
I
to be
wanna
like
see
tomorrow?
Where you travel under anesthesia, where will you go?
Where will I go? To hide from the robots? Or what do you mean?
You know, like you might like see Lord Shiva, or you might look down your own body, or something's gonna
Oh,
happen.
where do I go when they put the anesthesia on me? That's interesting. Will I be hovering above my bed, looking at the nurses and the doctors and the robots cutting me? It could just be a team of faceless robots with gears. And then I'm gonna look at. They're gonna bring me back in the ambulance, and there's gonna be no driver. It's driving itself. Are you a robot, Kastuba? Are you a droid? His face just falls off.